Well, a very good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Alliance Sim Racing. It's time for us to get underway with a brand new season of the Supercar Championship. That's right, Season 6 opens tonight. And what better way to start it off than at Phillip Island, a track absolutely known for the Australian motorsport history that it holds here. High-speed corners, some very tricky braking zones, and of course the ever-present challenge of some nice stiff ocean winds. It is absolutely the perfect stage for the opening round of a brand new season. We are of course also proud to announce on behalf of Alliance Sim Racing a major step forward for the league. Solarguard Saint-Gobain has joined as the official sponsor for Season 6. They're known worldwide as leaders in nanoceramic window tints and advanced paint protection, and they deliver the same precision and resilience that racing will demand of the drivers here tonight. So, as every car carries the Solarguard banner this season, let's celebrate a partnership that's going to help take ASR to the next level. Round 1 is about to get underway. Let's go racing at Phillip Island. And from Simple Racing Broadcast, a very big hello to you all from myself, Jared Cole, and I am joined tonight in the booth by Ryan Palmer. Ryan, welcome back to the comms booth. An interesting little setup for yourself this season as we see the drivers just starting to finish qualifying in the background. We're going to go racing very, very soon, but mate, you're getting involved this season.
Yeah, I thought I'd get involved. So yeah, no, it's good to be back. Keen for the season and how it is over here at ASR. But no, me and Josh and I are going to have people that will pull me up on that. We've spoke to the admin and we're actually running a half a season each kind of thing. So as you all know, Josh usually travels for work. So whenever Josh is home, he'll be racing, I'll be commentating. When he's away, I'll be racing, he'll be commentating. So yeah, no, it's good. It should be fun. Obviously, it's going to be my first time ever at ASR, so I don't know how I'm going to, go with some of these drivers because they are very fast. I do recognise some names over here, but yeah, good to be back for what will be Season 6 and my first. So yeah, the drivers are pretty quick out here so far at the moment.
Oh, they absolutely are. Qualifying just drawing to a close in the background. We're seeing some properly fast times out and around Phillip Island, but of course very, very close right throughout the grid, which will bring to you very, very shortly the return of a lot of drivers that you would have seen in the Endurance Championship, which wrapped up at Bathurst just a couple of weeks ago, and of course in Season 5, which finished not all that long ago with Wayne Walker from Accelerate Sim Racing taking the top step to finish the season. He's back again for Season 6. We've got a host of names you'll recognise and a few new entries, a few team moves this season as well, as I just desperately went through the list of drivers before the race start tonight to make sure that everyone's livery kind of matched what I was expecting for the team that they were in. But I think we've got it all caught up and we are just about ready to go racing here tonight. The format for this first round of Season 6, two races tonight rather, after lone qualifying. The first, a 12-lap sprint, followed by 34 laps in race number 2. There will be 2 compulsory pit stops for the drivers to take in race number 2 and a fuel restriction of 60% of the tank size. So not running the full 130 plus litres that these cars ordinarily can. Drivers will have to try and time their pit stops if possible to gain the most advantage here at Phillip Island. It's a very, very difficult track. I was chatting to Troy Sipple, one of the league admins, just beforehand, and he's not too keen on this one, Ryan, as an opener, and I suspect that you might be pretty happy to be letting Josh behind the wheel as well.
Well, funnily enough, I actually thoroughly enjoy Phillip Island.
I knew there was something wrong with you.
Mate, there's always been something wrong with me. It just takes a while for everyone to work it out. But no, I was speaking to Josh, and funnily enough, his work schedule actually takes all the good tracks, so I'm stuck with all the bad ones. But no, it should be good. 12 lap for race 1, 34 race 2, compulsory pit stop in race 2 times 2 with a 60% cap. It's going to definitely open up some strategy there. I have been speaking to Josh throughout the day on what he's going to try and do. He's not exactly fast over here. He's roughly about mid-pack, so he qualified 26th. So he's just going to kind of plot around and do how Josh does, and just keep it on track and see how it goes. But yeah, we are about to go gridding here for race 1.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at how they finished up in lone qualifying. Matt Vanderkraan showing just how much he loves Phillip Island as well, setting the pole time 1:31.982. Scott Mackay from ERT right alongside him. Then Connor Nixon and Jason Bentz ahead of Ken Latter and Dean Logsdale. Wayne Walker and Mark Poynton on row 4 ahead of Sean Vandermeulen and Michael Whiting rounding out your top 10. A huge field here tonight. Daniel McCrowan joins the season from Team Max Boost alongside Damon Fisher, then Andrew Rushworth and Stephen Varga. Jamie Dyke and Chad Varga ahead of Simon Haynes and Luke Orman. Alex Kiedis and David Coleman rounding out the top 20 after qualifying. Jacob Fraser and Rick Varga just in behind them on row 11. Mick Clifton and James Hardy, then Joel Osterwald and Josh Harris in P26 ahead of Craig Schultz and Troy Sipple in 28th. Phil Manuel makes the switch to 266 Sim Racing for this season. He's alongside Simon Farrington rounding out your top 30. Then Alistair Bales and Brad Hayes ahead of Darren Walden and Ashley Hall. Shane Cudby, a new entry next to Craig Rose, with David Logsdale and Mitch Wood ahead of Cooper Cottrell. 39 drivers that have shown up here tonight, and it is a massive, massive list. We're going to try and capture it all. Best of luck to us, I think, really, Ryan.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting having 39 cars going into turn 1. So we'll see how Matt Vanderkraan goes, and keep an eye on Wayne Walker down there in 7th. It's going to be a bit interesting. So yeah, very interesting. I have the briefing going on in my headset, so I'm kind of getting a little bit confused. But no, that's fine. I'm excited for the season, Jared. I am, considering the way to start a supercar as well. On the trans brake, got to get that mesh right. And if you do, you'll overtake a couple of cars. But if you don't, you'll get it horribly wrong.
Yeah, absolutely will. And this is going to be an interesting start here, I'm sure, because we've got Vanderkraan out in front, but a real domination, with the exception of Scott Mackay there on row 2 for ERT. Real Ford dominance, not just at the front of the pack, but throughout the field here. I don't know what's happened in the off-season, but all the Chevy drivers seem to have just disappeared. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. I think maybe Troy Sipple's been threatening some people if they don't change over or something. I don't know. Unless there's unless there's been an update to the balance performance that I'm not aware of. But in any case, we've got all the drivers gridded up now, with the exception of just a couple down the back end of this very, very long field lining up here at Phillip Island. We're getting ready to go racing, just waiting on confirmation from race control that we're ready to go, and season 1 will get underway. 12-lap sprint. It's going to be over before you know it. Don't blink, because you just might miss out. We get ready to go. The lights will come up in just a moment. Here we go, folks. Season 6 of the Alliance Sim Racing Supercar Championship is underway, and Matt Vanderkraan gets the jump and starts exactly how we'd like to continue the season, I'm sure. Take a look at this grid charging down towards turn 1. We're going 2 and 3 wide into turn 1. There's no way we're getting through this unscathed, I'm sure. We've got smoke. I don't think we've got any cars off, though. Somehow everyone survived. A big lock-up in the background, but still we're in one piece, which is probably a little better than I expected. I'd be honest. This pack absolutely bunched up as we go side by side out of the southern loop and head down towards the hairpin for the first time. Who's going to test the brakes? Who's going to just roll through and see what happens? We're going 2 wide through the hairpin as the drivers try desperately to get themselves sorted out. We're actually 3 wide towards the back of the pack, and you can see a very, very long train of cars there. Connor Nixon out in front has made the move past Matt Vanderkraan. It's an early one, but what a way to get underway for season 6 as we make our way up towards Lukey Heights for the very first time.
Yeah, my God, that was a frantic start. That had me stressed up here in the combox. Yeah, that were 2, 3. I think I even saw 4 wide for what was a slight second there. But yeah, we've got Connor Nixon out in front with Matt Vanderkraan. So the best thing for him to do now would absolutely put the pedal to the metal and say see you later, because he's got Matt behind him, and then Scott Mackay, Jason Bentz as well for Quantum Racing, 5K driver there. So we've got some high-rated drivers here, so I'll be keen to see what they do there as the drivers come past with the fastest lap so far, 140.0. So we'll wait and see what goes around here. But back on the Mustang versus Chev debate that you had, it looks like that it's heavily Mustanged out in the field. So thoroughly, that's probably why it looks like it's got a lot of Mustangs, because frankly there is. But jumping on board here with Troy Sipple, he's running around the outside there through Stoner Corner into Miller Corner down here at the hairpin. Luckily gets frozen. I don't know if that's...
Oh, just having some slight network connectivity issues there. We are back again.
Wow, that was ambitious there into Miller Corner there, down at turn 4. Coming up, we have Ken Latta here, B4, down into Lukey. He's got Jason Bentz right on his tail there. You've got to be careful you don't lock a brake there, because going down Lukey there on that hill, it's very easy to punch an inside, or pinch an inside, or pinch a rear. As soon as you lock a rear, you're done for.
Yeah, absolutely you are. And the change in angle of the car really does change the braking balance you can achieve as you come up and over the top of the hill. Thankfully, everyone seems to be getting through relatively cleanly at the moment. I keep scanning the huge list of drivers that we've got here, and there's battles going on right throughout. No massive gaps opening up anywhere. Scott Mackay now with Ken Latta. Mackay just has to drop in behind, and now Bentz is going to sneak up the inside of the southern loop as well. There's a little bit of contact, a few sparks. That's going to push Ken Latta even wider, and that gives Mackay the position back. He goes back up into 4th. Bentz locks away 3rd. Watch out for Dean Logsdale, though, behind from 95 Simsport, because he'll be looking for an opportunity now to pounce if Latta can't get his rhythm going again. Latta goes back up the inside. He's wanting to chase down Bentz and just maybe give a little bit back, as we see a little bit of contact, a little bit of panel rubbing there on the way out of the hairpin, and Mackay still with Logsdale behind him for the moment. Jason Bentz and Matt Vanderkraan change. Wayne Walker picks up a black flag. Looks like Vanderkraan's made a big mistake dropping down the order. Where is he? I can't see him. Oh, he's run off. What's happened well off the track through Siberia, so not quite sure how that's happened. Has he blown an engine or something? He's I don't know if he's just rolling and waiting for the rest of the field to get past. If we jump on board just briefly, looks like he's okay, but just had a big moment and has done the right thing in waiting for the rest of the field to actually come through there. Wayne Walker's in to serve a what looks like a black flag, perhaps from race control, although not entirely sure. Haven't really seen any incidents to suggest that'd be necessary. As I look back through the list here, about all we've seen really. Brad Hayes running off earlier, as did Sean Vandermeulen, but so far it looks to be fairly clean without too many massive issues. Let's go back and take a look though at just what happened to Matt Vanderkraan, how he ended up off the track through Siberia. Just overcooking it on the exit because he's all on his own. No, it looks like maybe a hardware or something, or maybe he's lost a screen or something like that. But yeah, he stayed off track for quite a while. I even done a jump there. That's I don't know if that's good for the suspension, honestly. Oh, not on these ones, but they're a little bit forgiving. But yeah, I'm really not sure what happened to him there. But he dropped all the way down the order from such a great start, just gone very downhill from there. But that was a race control penalty on Wayne Walker there. Not too sure what happened. I am trying to go back and find it, but I cannot find anything. So yeah, unfortunate, but that's the way that racing is, and the joys of live race control. We have the hats off to those guys. Keep an eye on everything, as we know that supercars with this many drivers can be absolutely terrifying. Yeah, it's a little hectic, to say the least. The 24/7 Sim Service guys doing everything they can up in the booth, I'm sure, to keep on top of it. Connor Nixon finally opening up a bit of a gap now, gets himself to almost 2 seconds ahead of Bentz. As we take a look at some of the battles going on back through the field. Daniel McCrowan looking to hold off Jamie Dyke. Dyke's got the run down to turn 1 though, so both of them going very, very deep. McCrowan needs to hold on and be up the inside of Jamie Dyke as they enter the loop. He's got there, and that means Jamie Dyke is going to have to just drop back in behind because there is no grip on the outside of the southern loop there. Definitely not somewhere you want to find yourself in a V8 supercar, so Dyke will take it right in behind. And he's going to have another crack at this on the way to the hairpin. It'll just be a question of where McCrowan runs. He goes right up the middle, forces Dyke to go very, very deep. Oh, Can't get there, but Macron's going to go slightly wide. That opens the door for Jamie Dyke to get on the power just a little bit earlier. Can't get there at the moment, but the pressure really on Danny Macron as he starts to hold up a bit of this traffic. 2 seconds from him forward to Damon Fisher.
Yeah, that's that big gap opening there, but I did find what happened. Wayne Walker hit the back of, who was it again? It was a Chev. Just give me a second, I will find it.
There's down to only about 3 people, to be fair, in this field.
Yeah, it seems like it, doesn't it? But yeah, he hit him into the bottom of Lukey Height, so it looks like he just ran a little bit deep.
Might have been Sean Vandermeulen then.
Yeah, well, sorry, that's the name rings a bell. Sean Vandermeulen, yes, he did. Ran into the back of Sean into Lukey Heights, and yeah, as we saw, did get a race control penalty. So, a bit unfortunate, but that's how it is. Connor Nixon out in front with that 1.8 second gap, and looks like it's rising. So he's kind of staying out of battles there, which is doing him an absolute favour. But going through the field here, we've got some big movers. We've got Jamie Dyke up 6 spots, Damon Fisher up 4, Josh is up 7 to 19th, Troy Sipple up 8 to 20th, and Mitch Wood up 6 into 33rd. So a couple of big movers here, and a couple of going down, unfortunately. Vanderkran obviously down 37, Vandermeulen down 21, and Wayne Walker down 24. So that's the joys of supercars.
You know, I'm trying really hard to figure this all out at the moment, because there are a lot of people who have moved up a few spots, as we see Harris starting to poke the nose ahead of Jacob Fraser and takes the position as they go into Siberia. There's a lot of small moves up through the field. Not very many people actually moving backwards though. Sean Vandermeulen's down 18 spots. Wayne Walker's down 22, serving that penalty. James Hardy's down 4. Matt Vanderkran's down 37. I can't work out how everyone else is up by just a couple of positions. It's a bit weird, honestly. Just a lot of little movements from a bunch of people, I suppose. It's just so unusual to see a field that is so full of green movement in the field, and not really a lot of people dropping back down.
Yeah, that's what I was also, while you were saying it, I'm like, well, usually when people go up, it means people go down. So I'm not too sure.
I'm trying desperately to do the maths in my head here, and I'm failing miserably, Ryan, honestly.
I can't, you know, everyone that is watching that knows me knows that I really can't do math very well. But looking back here, we do have Jamie Dyke has made that move there on Danny McCrowan. That Max Boost car, I'm going to have to get some sunglasses on, because that thing is absolutely blinding in the sun.
Very, very standard for Team Max Boost. A very highly reflective livery on any car I've ever seen a Team Max Boost driver in, and this is no exception. But that hasn't stopped Jamie Dyke's progress, up 6 spots into 9th now. Out in front, Connor Nixon still holding P1, P2 with Jason Benz. We've got a couple of seriously long trains going on here. From Jamie Dyke, you've got Macron, Rushworth, Varga, Viger, Allman, Coleman, Kiedis, Haynes, all there from 10th, 9th rather, through to 17th, all in one group. Look at them go. And then you get to the next group, which are a few seconds behind, headed up by Josh Harris at the moment. But another line of cars behind him. Jacob Fraser, Troy Sipple, a bit more of a gap back to Joel Osterwald from 266 Sim Racing. Then Rick Vigar, Mick Clifton, Phil Manuel, Simon Farrington, Craig Schultz, all in there. As we see a big brake lock up and some contact there. That's Phil Manuel and Rick Vigar coming together by the look of things. And Vigar finds himself off the track. A little bit of swapping around as a result. Yeah, Joel Osterwald getting caught up in that. So that's gonna break that little pack up. The battles continue though for Mick Clifton with Craig Schultz and Phil Manuel right on his tail, and Simon Farrington in Shadow Racing entry number 18 just trying to stay out in front at the moment. It's 8 laps in. It goes so quick here at Phillip Island. It really is a true sprint, because it's such a high speed circuit.
Yeah, definitely, especially when you're doing 133s. You know, you go to the likes of Bathurst where you're doing 206, 7, 8, 9s. You know, that race feels like it takes forever. But come here, a minute 33, a minute 34, absolutely crazy. Look at this pack. They're separated by, what, 2 seconds, if that? And that's for P10. That's absolutely crazy. You know, make one mistake, you know, get on the gas a little bit too early, and you'll drop what could be, you know, 4 or 5 spots. That's
no
wild.
pressure on you when you get in the car, then, mate. It'll be fine.
Mate, don't put that on me. Like I know I'm okay in a supercar, but I wouldn't say that I'm the best. But geez, man, this is crazy work. I've haven't raced here before. Got some new faces, and I'll be a new face too. So it's yeah, wow. I must say as well though, the livery designers for all these cars have absolutely done a stellar job so far this season. So as we're looking on board here with Luke Allman on that in that NZ Camaro, right on back of Chad Weiger in that Kumo Tyres Mustang. But mate, Chevrolets represent, because unfortunately that's all I run, because for me that Mustang sounds like a tin can.
Fair call.
I do not like the sound of that Mustang at all.
I'll warn you now, Troy Sipple's going to be in here after the race telling me that you're not allowed back with a comment like that, mate. But he'll have to take it to you on the track. Josh Harris and Jacob Fraser battling it out for 18th right now, as Fraser runs very, very wide. That gives Sipple an opportunity, and indeed he takes it up the inside of Southern Loop. Really tough to get back onto the grippier part of the track there for Fraser. As he gets the power down, he's going to try and catch back up. This pack, though, has just, it's gathered up a few more drivers now behind Michael Whiting from Fishy Motorsport. Look, he's got a couple of seconds gap back to Damon Fisher, so you've got these four out in front, Mackay, Logsdale, Point and Whiting. But then Damon Fisher, Jamie Dyke, Danny McCrowan, Andrew Rushworth, Stephen Varga, Chad Weiger.
9 drivers. Yeah.
Absolutely nuts back here.
Yeah, that's 9 drivers, all separated within, say, 3 seconds. So, yeah, that's a bit of chatter going backwards and forwards with some, drivers going on. Maybe not too happy about some race control decisions, but that's the joys of it. But yeah, wow, that's absolutely, these battle packs are crazy. I'm excited for this season. Look how tight these guys are. 9 laps into the race. You think that they'd be more separated? The leader hasn't really broken out. Yes, he's got a 2.1 second gap, but that's not, look at the times coming through. 33.3, 33.3, 33.3, 4.3, flat, 4, mate, these cars are so close.
There is nothing to separate these drivers here this season, and it's an interesting change, right? Wayne Walker last season, absolutely dominant, and perhaps the only reason we're not seeing that is that early black flag, and so he's finding himself caught back in 26th at the moment, which, to give him his due, he's climbed back up about 10 spots from, I think, where he was post that penalty. So he's definitely on the move. Yeah, I mean, the quickest lap for Walker right now is 33.4. Which is certainly up there in pace with most of the front end of this pack. But yeah, it's giving everyone else a bit of a chance to run out in front, as we see Jamie Dyke now reeling in Damon Fisher, getting closer. Will he make a move as we get over the top of Lukey Heights? It's a tight spot to try and get it done, but Jamie Dyke, fantastic under brakes in these Gen 3 supercars. He'll be really thinking about this. What does Fisher do? Just keeps it out in front for the moment. Jamie Dyke holds the gap. Keeps it very, very tight on the exit, though. That was a really interesting line from Dyke in the Fishy Motorsports number 080 entry. He's going to have to line up and have a crack again. He'll be thinking about turn 1 at this point.
Yeah, he's run that tighter line there through turn 10 down into Lukey Heights to try and get him open up turn 11 to give him a better run onto the straight. As you saw, Damon Fisher did run wide slightly, which gave Jamie that the benefit there, and there it is.
Big moment there, Damon Fisher. Fisher just taps the brakes to let Jamie Dyke get through, tries to get back online, and just struggles a little bit. Daniel McCrowan almost right into the back of the Team AJR Mustang. Thankfully, nothing comes from it, but Jamie Dyke picks up a handy extra 3 or 4 tenths of gap to Damon Fisher as a result. And I tell you what, we are about to see the white flag this time around, and I don't think any of these positions are actually decided yet.
Oh, definitely not. When the gaps are this close, you can run deep under brakes, lock a brake, you can have a car dive up your inside. None of these cars are positions are cemented at the moment. As we look at this Solar Guard, beautiful, as much as it hurts for me to say, the beautiful Mustang there. Obviously the major sponsor now for the window banners here at ASR, but yeah, it's even the back here, like 14th, 15th, even 22nd, 23rd with Van der Meulen and Craig Schultz as well. Like they're down but not out. Like look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars. Absolutely crazy.
And you've got this going on, as you said, in 21st. Farrington, Van der Meulen and Schultz all battling it out back here, all separated by less than a second. Up front, though, Jason Bentz and Ken Latta almost side by side into turn 1. This is the final lap. So all care and caution goes out the window a bit here as we see the next group coming through, and they are very, very tight on the way into the southern loop. Again, this time around, Scott Mackay leads them out. Dean Logsdale, Mark Point and Michael Whiting all in hot pursuit. Jamie Dyke's got himself a handy little gap ahead of Damon Fisher behind, but then the huge group of cars from McCrowan back, all of them within half a second of each other. It's going to get really, really messy as we get to the line here. Michael Whiting has a think about a move around the outside. There's a bit of trouble for Scott Mackay. Dean Logsdale, can he get through? Mackay holds the inside as they get to Siberia. He's going to hang on to that position, but only just. As we come on through Siberia, take a look at this group of cars following them through, though.
Oh my lord, that is so many cars there. That's
it's a beautiful thing to see, isn't it? It really
100%.
is.
And the fact that they can drive so close to each other, you know, we know that these Gen 3 supercars aren't really the best in dirty air, but the fact that they've still got them, you know, this close to each other, and with their tyre wear too, it's absolutely crazy. But as we come around here, the final corner, Connor Nixon, hats off to you, mate. You've done absolutely well in this race so far. Made an early move and buried that lead and cemented it to round off race 1 of season 6.
Connor Nixon comes home and takes first spot ahead of Jason Bentz and Ken Latta. Scott Mackay, Dean Logsdale, Mark Point and Michael Whiting come through. Jamie Dyke about the only driver who's going to finish his own. Look at the line of cars coming across here. What a shot.
That's going to look fantastic in those post-race photos that come through.
Oh, absolutely will. Nicol Photography always does an amazing job as we see Craig Schultz crossing the line. There goes Wayne Walker, Phil Manuel behind him, James Hardy and Mick Clifton coming through. The rest of the field still to come. We are only at about 30th place here. Joel Lustoval going right to the line, finishes just behind Mitch Wood. Darren Walden now 15 seconds further back. A fair gap to these three. And it's about the biggest gap I think we're going to see all night, honestly. Walden's going to come across the line. He'll hold it, though, ahead of Brad Hayes and Shane Cudby. And then just a couple more drivers in, Ashley Hall and Craig Rose to finish further back, as well as Matt Vanderkraan, who unfortunately not the race start he will have wanted, along with David Logsdale, who's not had an amazing start to his season. But you know what? Shake it off. That's only the first race, and there will be plenty more to come.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, the season is never given to the champion until the end of the final race in the final round, because realistically, supercars, that's all it takes. It takes, you know, one mistake and you can drop 3, 4, 5 positions down the standings. So, you know, it's going to be, as much as it was a good start for Connor, anything can still happen for anyone in this field. Michael Whiting with the fastest lap in that race there. That was a fantastic race to call there. I had a lot of fun, and we're going to do it all over again for what would be nearly 3 times the distance.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting change of pace for these drivers. They have to think about those extra couple of pit stops. But before we get to that, let's take a look at the results from Heat 1 in the SolarGuard Supercar Championship here with ASR for Season 6. Connor Nixon takes the win in pretty commanding fashion in the end, picking up the full list of points available. Jason Bentz behind him with Ken Latta not too far off the back. Scott Mackay and Dean Logsdale 4th and 5th, then Mark Point and Michael Whiting ahead of Jamie Dyke and Damon Fisher. And then in quick succession, Danny McCrowan, Andrew Rushworth, Stephen Varga, Chad Vigar, Luke Orman, David Coleman, Alex Keita, Simon Haynes, all right there. Josh Harris coming home in 18th ahead of Troy Sipple, and Jacob Fraser rounds out your top 20. We go further back through the field. We do go back further through the field, I promise you. Simon Farrington from Shadow Racing in 21st ahead of Sean Vandermeulen and then Craig Schultz. Wayne Walker finds himself in 24th, so he'll have a bit of work to do in race number 2. Phil Manuel and James Hardy behind him, then Mick Clifton and Rick Vigar. Alistair Bales and Mitch Wood round out your top 30, followed by Joel Lustoval and Darren Walden. Brad Hayes and Shane Cudby, the last of the drivers to finish within a minute of the winner. Ashley Hall and Craig Rose behind them, then Matt Vanderkraan in 37th, with David Logsdale 1 minute 33 off the pace. Cooper Cottrell out early and unfortunately not getting to the line in anywhere near the same kind of pace, and we'll see if we see him back for race number 2 here tonight. We do have a couple of minutes while the drivers get some warm-up time in there and just get ready for what will be a fairly different approach, I reckon, Ryan. It's not going to be quite as sprinty, is it?
Well, it can depend. It can be, but it can't be. It depends on what they want to do in relation to their stint. You know, do they push, you know, use or burn the fuel, fill up more, or, you know, do they save so they can shorten the stint? You know, all of that, plus, as we said, the 2 compulsory pit stops. So, you know, will they take tyres one stop, tyres the other stop? You know, anything can happen. We can never, you know yourself, you can never pick what kind of strategy people are going to run. It's always just a gamble of, you know, probably about as useful as what my gambling history on Sportsbet is.
Yeah, absolutely. We might take the opportunity just to have a very quick chat to Connor Nixon after taking that first one. Connor, you with us?
Yeah, mate.
Mate, welcome on in to the booth, and what a start to your season. That was pretty intense behind you. How did it look in the mirror? Because you in the end had a pretty clear and calm kind of run out in front.
Yeah, look, hi guys. Yeah, it was not too bad. Just kind of got out in front and just managed the tyres. I kind of knew with that about a second and a half was kind of enough buffer to just sit there and save a bit of tyre just in case they did come up to the back of us. But yeah, look, it was a pretty measured race. Hopefully that happens next race.
Yeah, obviously a fair bit of challenge yet to come. We've got basically triple the distance and a couple of pit stops. Big question for you, I suppose, is there any particular strategy that you're taking into this one ahead of time, or is it going to be something you figure out on the fly as you see how the race unfolds?
Look, I did scops on the weekend, so I've got a bit of an idea what we're going to do for strategy, but yeah, look, it's not the same setup that I ran on that weekend, so look, we'll just play it by ear, see what everyone does behind us, and yeah, if we're out front, we'll just, yeah, do the opposite of what they do, really.
Nice, so we'll let you get back in there. You've got a minute or so before it's time to grid up, so we'll let you get settled back in, grab a drink, whatever. Great drive to start the season, and hopefully another opportunity to chat to you at the end of this one, hey?
Yeah, hopefully so. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, Connor. Connor Nixon there, jumping in briefly between races for us, and Ryan, yeah, I think he's on the money. 34 laps. It's a little hard to make any particular decision, but certainly just a bit of responding to what other drivers are doing around you is the way to go. Jamie Dyke just checking into the chat, asking if Connor can please slow down in this second race, and I don't know if he's got it in him, honestly, Jamie. I don't think it's something that he knows how to do after that.
Yeah, that's it can go any way realistically. You know, the other thing they need to be worrying about in this race is the undercut. We know the undercut is very heavily favoured to, you know, fresh tyres and stuff like that. So if you got like a second and a half gap to the car in front, you chuck an undercut in, 2 laps in, bang, you're already in front. So, but then you've got to be worried about the car behind having fresh tyres. So yeah, it can definitely work a whole bunch of ways. I don't think Connor's going to slow down one bit. I think Jamie just needs to get faster, to be honest.
Oh, that is very brave words from someone who's going to be in the field with him in next week. But
no,
you know,
no, next week. Not next week.
Not next week. Okay, so you're hoping there's a bit of time for him to forget that you've said that. Then obviously, let's take a look at the grid for race number 2. Connor Nixon and Jason Bentz will start up front ahead of Ken Ladder and Scott Mackay. Then Dean Logsdale and Mark Poynton behind them. Michael Whiting and Jamie Dyke line up on row number 4 with Damon Fisher and Daniel McCrone rounding out the top 10. Andrew Rushworth and Stephen Varga behind them with Chad Vigar and Luke Allman nipping at their heels. David Coleman and Alex Kiedis on row 8 ahead of Simon Haynes and Josh Harris on row number 9. Then Troy Sipple and Jacob Fraser rounding out the 20. Simon Farrington and Sean Vandermeulen will start ahead of Craig Schultz and Wayne Walker, who's got a bit of work to do to get back through the field this time around. Phil Manuel and James Hardy ahead of Mick Clifton and Rick Vigard. Then Alistair Bales and Mitch Wood. Joel Oosterwal and Darren Walden just outside the 30 with Brad Hayes and Shane Cudby behind them. Ashley Hall and Craig Rose ahead of Matt Vanderkraan with David Logsdale and Cooper Cottrell in 39th. Again, a massive field as we head on down to the start line and get ready to go racing once again here for race 2, round 1 of the Solar Guard Supercar Championship.
Yeah, this race is going to be exciting. Drivers are all strapped in, ready to go. I'm also looking here, Jared. I don't know if you are, but looks like most of the Mustangs are up the front went down the order, and some Chevs went up. So very evenly spread. So maybe the Chevs definitely positive in quality, but in the race they start to fall down the order. So yeah, not too sure what happened, but man, that's a really weird ratio there of Chevs to Fords.
It is, and look, honestly, I think my gut tells me that it speaks more to the fierce brand loyalty that exists in some of these drivers. I've had so many chats with Troy Sipple in particular, where it's just so easy to stir him up at the idea of a Chev instead of a Ford. Yeah, look, I mean, it's the old Ford Holden thing. You really can't wipe that out of the DNA of some of these guys, honestly. Question from Tim Lawson: did Josh sandbag qualifying? Are we talking Josh Harris? If so, no, probably not intentionally. He might just be awful at it.
He sucks at qualifying.
Yeah.
He sucks at qualifying.
Yeah, he does struggle a bit at qualifying pace, but tends to bring his A game to the race, which is probably the better time to do it. We've got about 30 seconds for the drivers to get on the grid, just waiting on the last one or two down the very, very back of the field. If you squint, you can almost see them at the crest of the hill under that Melbourne sign. But we are just about ready to go underway. Starters orders have come through. The lights are up. Looks like Mick Clifton will be starting from the pits here, but we are underway for race number 2, and Connor Nixon leads them away as we head on down towards turn 1. You can see already some cars coming together. Look out for Jamie Dyke and Dean Logsdale getting very close. We are 6 wide down the front straight. What a way to start it off as we come through turn 1 for the first time. Will this be as clean this time around? Will the drivers remember they're back on cold tyres, or are they going to go all out? Somehow, though, we've made it through in one piece. I've got no idea how we've survived that just then this time around, but we haven't. We've actually got a car sideways now. That looks like, who's caught up in that? Alistair Bales may have moved back a bit. There was definitely a car sideways in amongst all of that. I'm not quite sure who it was. It looks like they might have even been pushed straight by the other cars, which is not bad at all, honestly.
Yeah, there's not really many bad movers in the field so far. I think it may have been Simon Farrington, or... It
did look like a green car of some sort, which doesn't narrow it down, I know, but...
There's a couple of those in there, Jared.
There are a few, but look, we've got Alex Kiedis off track, got a few off track in the background, including Wayne Walker, as you see him dropping back down the order, so that's not been the ideal start for him, as he looks to reclaim a few spots. We get down from Lukey Heights for the first time, and the driver's starting to settle in a little bit. Josh Harris really putting the move there on Danny McCrone from Team Max Boost. Gets it settled by the time they get back out the other side. I'll tell you what, though, that was an interesting one so early in the race. We've got a car going in. That's David Coleman now. This is not surprising. We've seen this from DC before. He doesn't mind giving himself a bit of clean air by taking a very, very early pit stop.
Yeah, Vanderkron as well, following him in. You know, he'll probably just come in there, fill the tank up as much as he can. Obviously fresh tyres, so there's no use doing that. Punch out some quick laps as these guys are really tussling for position. Yeah, that can be an interesting one. You know, run the full tank longer, and then shortest in the final one. So yeah, there was a lot of movers there, cars up and down.
There it is. So Luke Allman gets spun around. Wayne Walker ends up off track. Looks like the Old Mate and Sons entry as well of Alex Kiedis, if I'm not mistaken, getting off the track. And Wayne Walker just testing out the suspension, really, as he gets back on track and escapes from all of that.
Yeah, very good by him there by staying off track and not impeding any cars coming behind, because we all know that that can have a very harsh consequence if you do come back on track and impede some of the other drivers. But hopefully they don't realise these cars are trophy trucks. They don't really handle very well when they're not all four wheels on the ground.
I'm pretty convinced they don't handle well most of the time, honestly. And maybe that's a driver issue more than anything else.
I was about to say, I think that's a you problem, Jared, because we all know how you are in some cars.
Absolutely. Michael Whiting comes into the pit, so he's taking the early pit strategy, and certainly with the cars running the way they are at the moment, it might not be a bad idea to get a little bit of clean air if you think you've got some pace. Scott Mackay sets the fastest time, fourth back in the pack here, 132.33, just a couple of tenths quicker than Connor Nixon and Jason Benz out in front. It's a bit of a tough call for these drivers though, isn't it? Do you come in early and go for that undercut, or do you stay in the line and try and take advantage of the amount of slipstream that's available? Connor Nixon though under real threat right now from Jason Benz.
Yeah, he's really under threat here from Jason Benz there. He's not really pulling away like he did, but he really only did that around lap 5 or 6. But Michael Whiting has come out in front of David Coleman, so DC has really made up some time by taking that early pit stop. So that'll be a exciting one to watch later on in the race when people start coming in for their first pit stops and whatnot, because that's the other thing. Do these drivers up front, obviously, Connor Nixon leading the way, he doesn't, does he want to fight with Jason Benz, or does he want to let him pass, go in the pit, something like that? We're, never going to know. But back further in the pack here, I was just about to go to this. We've got, again, 9, 10, 11 cars fighting for what would be, what have we got, 12th, 13th?
I think it's for 11th spot, maybe 12th spot. It's a little hard to tell with so many cars in amongst it. It says Simon Haynes just ahead of Sean Vandermeulen. But have a look at the lineup, and I'm glad we set this camera up, a couple of drones set up beforehand, because it gives you a really good view forwards to the front of this pack, and then again back from these cars at the number of cars behind. This lineup is just insane, from Josh Harris in 12th all the way back to Alistair Bales in 23rd. The total gap here, I'll get it for you in just a second, as we take a look forward, because Daniel McCrollan's right up there, but Josh Harris being the leading leading car of this group right now. The gap back from Josh Harris to Alistair Bales in 23rd, so 11 positions, basically 5 seconds at the moment.
Yeah, that's crazy. I was just trying to do some quick math calculating there, and it was about 5.5.
3 wide through the hairpin. That's Jacob Fraser, Simon Haynes, and Sean Vandermeulen. Sorry to cut you off, Ryan, but who does that at Phillip Island? Apparently, Fraser, Haynes, and Vandermeulen will give it a crack, and they've actually survived 3 wide. A big slide there in the background for was that Alistair Bales by the look of things, and he now has Simon Farrington up and getting past him, as well as Wayne Walker, who's back up into 25th. So Bales struggling to recover the pace after that loss of traction. Up front, though, we've got a bit of a pack forming here as well behind Connor Nixon, who's obviously taking a bit of a different strategy this time around as we come around to complete lap number 4. The front pack all staying very close together as you see them head down the main straight. One of the longest straights you'll find anywhere in Australian motorsport, Conrod Straight notwithstanding, of course. But it allows you to get a huge amount of speed before you jam this car through turn 1 and pray that those outside tyres keep you on the asphalt.
Yeah, the tyres are under a heavy load. They're coming into turn 1 on those left-hand side. Same thing as well. These cars have a droop level too. So
Macron's done his motor.
With an engine.
The downshift strikes again.
We have a safety car as well. So.
Now, is that because of Macron, or is there something else that's happened further back in the pack, I wonder?
I'm not entirely sure, but we will see some cars here come into the pits.
Oh, there's going to be an exodus to the pits, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Dane Macron's doing a great job. I don't think I've actually seen... I've not seen that pattern of smoke from one of these cars before. You tend to have some really thick and constant billowing smoke, but it's just a few puffs of it at the moment. I don't know whether he's only done very mild damage here.
Yeah, might have dropped a piston or a ring or something like that. Oh, we're starting to get that a little bit heavier now. So he's doing really well to get that thing back to the pits, while also not impeding any cars behind. But yeah, so this is going to tighten up the field. So what was starting to spread out, we only had, say, 20 seconds from 1st to 27th. That's going to come down really, really quickly. We see nearly all of the drivers heading straight into the pits.
So far, the first 13 all into the pits. 14, 15, 16, Sippel, Manuel, Osterwald, unsurprisingly, Daniel Macron. Mitch Wood, about the only person staying out on track right now, so he's going to try and make the most of this.
Keep an eye on David Coleman too.
Well, yeah, that's the other one, right? He's done his first pit stop. Does he come in and make this a second pit stop? I don't think he'd be able to.
I wouldn't.
No, he's going to stick with it.
Yep.
So Michael Whiting, David Coleman, Wayne Walker will
these
fly
positions have just
by.
made up.
Absolutely, the entire field
all the way
sitting
to the
there.
front. We see DC as well. He used to run in the Chev, so he's made a bit of a manufacturer change now as well into the Mustang. So maybe he feels a little bit more
I don't think we've actually got a. Do we have the safety car out on track at the moment? I haven't seen it yet. I mean, we could still be catching up to it at this stage, but I don't actually see any of the safety car drivers out on track. So I'm wondering if perhaps it hasn't actually pulled from the pits at this stage. We're not seeing it. So I'm going to assume that perhaps they've decided not to actually run it in the end. Always a bit hard to keep up with
the
stuff.
safety car is in the lane. Maybe they're just sorting out the pit stops and whatnot. But we'll wait and see. But they definitely did call safety car. So
really interesting that. Look, I mean, they could have made the decision not to progress with it. Of course, maybe they were expecting Macron to end up being unable to get that back to the pits. But in the end, very, very lucky, I think, for Macron to not have issues with
safety
that.
car's heading out now. So Mitch Wood has just dived into the pits too. So we'll wait and see. He's done what do they call it? An alternate strategy. So he's waited for that extra lap. So we'll keep an eye on him where he comes out in relation to the rest of the field, because he may be in the mix of all of those cars, and that'd be very interesting.
There's Brad Hayes. No, that's Michael Whiting, David Coleman going in. Sorry. Now that's interesting. That'll be their second stop, so they're pretty comfortable that they can make it to the end. For the next 25-ish laps. On a full tank of fuel. That safety car is going to have to get moving, because the field is arriving very, very quickly. This is going to be problematic. I don't think that we were quite ready for the field to come up that quickly. And Brad Hayes doing a great job. Jason Benson, Ken Latta just barely getting it pulled up in time before reaching the Solar Guard safety car. That was nearly a little bit of a safety car accident before the restart, which is, not the usual.
Yeah, Mitch Wood there come out in 14th, but that was very scary for me up here. I was watching the safety car still standing still on the racing line too. So Brad Hayes coming down, slammed on the brakes, lucky to not hit the back of the safety car there. That would have been very scary. But not only that, Jason Benson, Ken Latta also nearly collided too. So yeah, that was a very very scary one. Not too sure what happened there. Maybe there was a bit of miscommunication, but that's going to spice things up.
Bit unusual.
Yeah.
The new Mustang GT4, if I'm not mistaken, the safety car for this season.
Yes, that's correct.
So no longer the GT3. We're into the GT4, and the Solar Guard safety car livery well and truly sorted. Tim Lawson, I know I'm a little late on the uptake on this one, mate. I know this was a little while back, but you're not wrong. Dave Coleman in a Ford is a strange thing indeed. There must be something I've missed in the season update that's made these a whole lot quicker or something. So it's very strange.
Yeah, I think it's maybe personal choice. I'm not too sure, but I've never really seen a difference. Maybe I might need to go buy the Mustang and test it out. But yeah, we'll wait and see. But yeah, well, look at that first Chev in 5th in Scott Mackay. So. I don't know what's going to happen for the rest of this race. As we said, 25, as we got in a replay here. Macron, I'm pretty sure he's done it into 1. He's coming into 1, probably changed down a couple of gears too early. Shout out to Josh Harris, because that's normally a him thing to do.
Right.
Right. You can't tell me that he hasn't done that in nearly every single round in his race.
Oh, so 100%. Josh Harris is the master of popping these motors on a downshift, and obviously Daniel Macron taking some notes.
Yeah.
Because that motor, look, he'll be very, very thankful for the fact that he had a fast repair up the sleeve, because that would have been a half-hour repair otherwise.
Oh, for sure. As the safety car's pulling into the pits now, so we're about to go racing, ladies and gentlemen. Brad Hayes in control of this field, backing them up. Look at that. Look how close they are.
He'd be terrified right now. He's up 32 positions at the moment, and he's about to lead off this field of drivers. You can't tell me he wouldn't be just a little bit concerned as he approaches the start-finish line here. He's got control. He can absolutely set this up however he likes, but
he also hasn't pit either, so he's on old tyres. So he's going to get absolutely swallowed. He's left that super late. How late? That's crazy.
Look, there's definitely a strategy in that, but look at how much it's checking up the back of the field as that concertina effect really just collapses everyone into some very, very tight racing. You see already Bent's looking to go around the outside as you see Hayes ends up very, very wide. He's going to have to try desperately to hold on there. Slots in behind Jason Bentz, but he's got Ken Latta now looking up the inside. Connor Nixon not too far behind. Hayes is going to get absolutely overrun as these cars come through, and he's surely missed the opportunity of a lifetime in terms of that pit stop under safety car. But no matter, we see Josh Harris just getting a little bit of a nudge from Simon Haynes there back in 15th and 16th. Brad Hayes just trying to stay out of the way, I think, at the moment more than anything, and let these drivers roll on through. Bent's now out in front, Ken Latta behind. You can see Hayes off the inside of the track there. He's trying desperately to just let this field through because they are all at just such a high pace with those fresh tyres compared to, like, even though his tyres are only, what, 8 laps old, they're still not going to compare to the brand new ones that these guys have got on.
Oh, deep dive there from Josh.
Up there.
Oh.
Scott McKay just getting a bit of a nudge along from Jamie Dyke as well. You can see already those front three just starting to stretch their legs a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. They're starting to stretch their legs. Even front four, Scott McKay's got a bit of a gap there back to Jamie, or no, 2/10 back to Jamie Dyke. So 1.4 in front. So, you know, does Jamie push Scott, or does he try and pass? So that's the question. You know, you've got these fresh tyres on, same as everyone else. Everyone, from what I can see, has pit on lap 5, as we see Brad Hayes still on track. So that's definitely going to be interesting on how his strategy is going to go.
Manuel's run wide into Southern Loop.
Oh, that's very good when you're out there.
That's going to cost him a lot of positions here too, because the field's still so compressed. It's a very, very slow way to get back on track, and then everyone coming through at full pace. He's dropped all the way down to 29th. Not what he would have been hoping for. Troy Sipple now goes around the outside. That's Dave Coleman around. Dave Coleman around in the hairpin. This is going to be chaos because everyone coming together. David Logsdale manages to avoid it all, but Mick Clifton, James Hardy, Alex Kiedis all caught up in it. You can see a bit of damage there on Kiedis' car. And somehow this group managing to get through relatively unscathed. Luke Orman, Matt Vanderkran leading out with Wayne Walker in 25th right behind them. 3 of these guys battling it out. A long way from where they're used to being in amongst the battle, we will say. We'll go back and we'll take a look at just what happened there, though, because that was a bit of a spectacular one, and David Coleman really getting caught right up in the middle of it. Might have even started with Josh Harris running off track a little here.
Oh, gets really
that's
hot.
actually separate to the incident further back. So David Coleman comes in very, very hot, gets a big nudge up the inside, the 666. That's James Hardy, if I'm not mistaken, who's just clipped the inside of the Fisher Motorsports car. And then you see that Wayne Walker getting caught up in it. No, it's not, sorry. It's Mick Clifton getting caught up in that. And Dave Coleman will be fuming. And you can see he's already a little upset with that one. And look, maybe if he was in a Chev, that wouldn't have happened.
See, exactly right. But then again, we can't say that because last season he also got the same treatment and then I think blew his engine not long after that. So maybe that's just a Dave Coleman luck, unfortunately. But still, the drivers out in front, they've got now a 2.1 second gap to Scott McKay. So they're really pulling out in front now. Here with lap 10 of 34. We've got another 24 and a half laps to go. That number 29 there of Mark Point there in that juice mobile looking very very flashy.
Always does look to goods, and Mark Point really he performed so well throughout all of the season in season 5, but just didn't in the end have the points to be standing atop the table. Keep an eye on him though. He's a very quick driver. He's just got to get a few more of the cards to fall his way this season. and I reckon we'll see him up the front end without
Bit of
too
an
much of an issue.
underachiever.
Oh, look, he's got plenty of pace. He had a few races where just got caught up in some stuff that really wasn't anything he could do about, and unfortunately it impacted his points a fair bit. Jacob Fraser now just trying to take that place from Craig Schultz. Schultz goes very, very wide, and Fraser says thank you very much, takes the opening left there. I think Schultz just inviting him through, sees the difference in pace. Just up the road, Vargs now doing everything he can to hold Sean Vandermeulen off as they come down to the hairpin again, but Vandermeulen looking around the outside, Vargs just defending hard to hold on to P11. He wants to stay with it and try and get back into that top 10. He's looking ahead to Andrew Rushworth, Chad Vigar, and a host of other names in, once again, a huge lineup of cars that stretches all the way from Scott Mackay right back to Sean Vandermeulen here.
Yeah, this is a really good battle pack as we see a car on the outside there. I'm not too sure who that is falling down the order, but yeah, Varg's doing a really solid job there to keep Vandermeulen behind, but he's also trying to push as well towards Rushworth. So, it's always hard when you're in this kind of little bit of a pickle when, you've got a car pushing you from behind, but at the same time you want to push. So, you're trying to defend while attack, and it's just a whole lot of stuff going on at once, and your head kind of really gets, flooded with all this stuff going on, and, what do I do here, what do I do there, while setting up the pass, you're trying to also defend too. So definitely very hard to try and do that, but these battle packs are absolutely fantastic for Season 6 here. We do have a black flag coming through for James Hardy.
Oh, that would have to be for the contact with Dave Coleman. No doubt about it. As Fraser and Schultz go side by side, so these guys haven't fixed it up just yet. They're still battling it out, but to have a look at that, getting caught up behind the lap car, I think that might have been Craig Rose from Quantum Racing, who
it is.
Just delays Schultz a little bit and gives Fraser a bit of breathing room. Further up, though, Rushworth, Varga, all still caught in it. Sean Vandermeulen tries to go around the outside again. Varga continues to defend that inside ferociously. Now Matt Vanderkraan's having a look up the inside as well. Oosterwald leaves the door open though. Big puff of smoke up the road. Can't see a car attached to it at the moment, so we might be okay.
This is a bit of a break lock-up. Rose really causing havoc for these drivers here. No fault of his own, obviously. He's staying out of the way. It's just really unfortunate that these drivers are coming up behind him, and what would be a very hard part of the track to pass, unfortunately, there. But Mick Clifton all the way down here in 29th position.
Looks like he's actually come together with Alistair Bales in the hairpin. We'll go back and take another look. Bales out very, very wide and just overcooks it and across in front of Clifton. Did a good job to pull it up, not too much damage, so he'll continue on, and Alistair Bales will have a bit of work to do to try and catch it up. This battle fourth continues. Jamie Dyke right in behind Scott Mackay with Mark Poynton and Dean Logsdale in hot pursuit.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be interesting, on lap 13 and 34. We still have another 20, 21, 22 laps to go. So big movers in the field. We've got Sean Vandermeulen up 10 spots, Mitch Wood up 16, Vanderkraan up 17, Oosterwald up 10, and Shane Cudby up 10. The big movers there. The leader of the two pit stops at the moment is Michael Whiting in 22nd. So we've got to keep an eye on him when the first cars in front of him do need a stop. So if he can go to the end, I'll be definitely seeing Mr. Whiting, big man of Fishy Motorsports, head up the field. But Jamie Dyke still on the back here of Scott Mackay in that this little battle pack of 3-4 cars there. I must say that 1997 Glenn Seaton livery there from Logsdale looks absolutely fantastic as well.
Yeah, I was trying to pick it earlier. I'm looking at it going, that is not the usual, but it's what he's running with tonight for whatever reason. Take a look just behind though. Big moment there, big puff of smoke as Rushworth comes under attack. In fact, I'm just looking, that might be... Who's getting caught up in that? I keep getting thrown because Andrew Rushworth with Accelerate looks so much like Wayne Walker's car to me at a glance, and I'm sitting there going, why on earth is Walker in amongst all of this? But it's not. The Rushworth in there, Sean Vandermeulen right behind, got Vargs and Fisher just up ahead. Scott Mackay, Jamie Dyke continue their battle for fourth, so keep an eye on the timing tower for that one. Behind them though, Michael Whiting as you said, he's in the run. He's made his second stop. So if he can stick with this, do a little bit of fuel saving if he needs to, 20 odd more laps, and he might just find himself in a really, really tidy position. What he doesn't want right now is another safety car. That's what he really needs to avoid.
No. Yes, correct. He also wants a big gap to the next car behind when they do come out of the pits, but it's going to be interesting towards the end, because the next car behind him is Wayne Walker on the second stop. So that was lap 6 for Michael Whiting. So, you know, can we see a 28 lap stint on these tyres? Obviously, the track temp isn't too high. Yeah, it is. The track temp isn't too high, so the usage isn't really that high. But still, you know, 28 lap old tyres in comparison to, say, 5 or 10, definitely a huge, massive difference. But if you can keep that gap, you know, stay out of trouble, stay where he is, he's doing a really solid job there with this battle with Ustaval and Allman right behind. He's definitely, as he just gets into the back there, a bit of pendulum effect here in these 3 cars. That's what you don't want.
Just bump drafting. It's just bump drafting.
Yeah, it is, but at the same time, not into a corner. Come on, Jared, you know that, mate. But yeah, this is definitely very exciting on how this is going to be. As Vargs gets overtaken by Vandermeulen and Rushworth. Looks like he's made a mistake.
Didn't have the pace down the main straight. Simon Haynes catching up very quickly behind in the Solar Quantum Racing entry. So won't want to take the teammate out there, obviously. But yeah, Rushworth and Vandermeulen getting through. Vargs just couldn't continue to hold on. Or maybe it's a question of strategy at this point, and he wants to run a bit of fuel saving. Matt Vanderkraan finds himself on the outside. Josh Harris right behind him, and Fraser in the privateer entry just ahead. These 3 battling it out as well. Sean Vandermeulen. What's happened here? A couple of swaps of position. He's alongside Andrew Rushworth as they come down to Siberia. Rushworth finds himself on the inside. Vandermeulen's going to have to go the long way around. Can he get the power down early enough? He can't. So Rushworth pulls ahead, but big moment under power. He's lost a couple of spots now. Just couldn't get that traction down.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing that these cars out of the exit of that corner there is they get really squirrely the way that the track camber goes as well. Especially coming through Lukey Heights, you know, you want to be kind of half on the throttle, not too hard, otherwise the car's just going to drift out to the right. Next thing you know, you're in the sand, in the grass, and you try and break in there, and that's all she wrote. But yeah, Rushworth doing a solid job there. Unfortunately, losing some spots, but you know, tighten the belt back up, coming down the straight, and then go at it again.
Really interesting thing to me is this group of 3 out in front still absolutely locked in there. Benz, Nixon and Ladder, they've continued to build their lead over Jamie Dyke out to almost 3.5 seconds now, but none of these guys have really managed to put much distance on each other at this point, and so they're still all kind of within about 1.5 seconds. So just lapping around, keeping the pace up. Last lap mid 33s for these guys. Jamie Dyke's still a few tenths back from that. So the pace really is with the front 3 of Benz, Nixon and Ladder, and doesn't look like they've got any plans of slowing it down just yet. You can see right behind Jamie Dyke leading up this pack, Scott Mackay, Mark Poynton and Dean Logsdale coming with him. And I wonder if maybe they're just getting a little bit caught up in battling each other, not realising that they're giving away just a tenth or 2 a lap at the moment to the front 3.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing you need to be wary of as well when you are battling with people. You can bleed time off the cars in front. So, you know, that's definitely not what you want if you're trying to push forward. But at the same time, the car at the back of this lot of Dean Logsdale, he's just going to be watching this happen, saying, okay, you guys come together and then I'll just take these spots off you. So, but not only that, being back there, he can be saving fuel. So doing that, he shortens his next stop. So then all he has to do is say, I think it's about 9 seconds or so with changing tyres. So, you know, if he's covered by tyres with fuel, then he's going to make up a whole bunch of spots, especially if it's under green, or we may see another late safety car, because these cars are still so close together, anything is possible. It's so easy to blow an engine on one of these cars too, you know. A couple of over revs, change down a gear too early, bang, see you later. That's all she wrote.
Keep a close eye on Josh Harris for that happening later on, I'm sure. Plenty of opportunities still for him to do that. Wayne Walker continues to move up through the field. He's right on the tail of Oosterveld, looks for the pass in turn one, can't get it done here, but is he going to set himself up? A little tap of the brakes from Oosterveld. That's going to be all the sign that Wayne Walker needs as he looks for the opening. Oosterveld does a great job keeping that tight. He's gone a little wide now. Wayne Walker senses just a little bit of weakness as he tries to parry out there, putting Oosterveld under huge amounts of pressure. It's got to come soon. Wayne Walker is all over the back of him at the moment. And it's got to be into the hairpin, surely. Oh, massive defence from Oosterveld. Can he get it pulled up? Manages to keep Walker behind him for now. I don't know how much longer he can handle this sort of pressure. I guess we'll find out. Let's jump on board with Wayne Walker. This is the view forward from the Accelerate Sim Racing entry. And he is all over the back of Joel Oosterveld in the 266 Sim Racing entry. Can't quite get the pass done yet, and it must be frustrating. Walker only up 3 spots so far in this race, but he does have both of his stops done, and he is getting closer and closer. If you look just a little further up the road, Michael Whiting is right there. So these two both having made their 2 stops. You were talking about keeping an eye on Whiting for later on when everyone does come in for their second. Wayne Walker has closed that gap massively, and here he goes up the inside. Oh, he's going in again.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. So the first pit for repairs, or was that the black flag run? That wasn't this race, was it?
No, that was the last race. That's okay. That's interesting. I'm not too sure what Wayne is doing here with that third one, but no, that was definitely in the first race, because that's when he spun Vandermeulen down into Lukey Heights, and that's why they dropped all the way back down the order. So that's interesting. Maybe he's trying to do a bit of an undercut here. Granted, the field's a little bit close, getting out of the way there. Obviously, he's going to have a lot of space in front of him, punch out some quick laps. But yeah, that's. I don't know what's going on with Wayne there, but in that case, that's going to be a Michael Whiting thing to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I can't wrap my head around that. Why Wayne Walker's coming for a third? I mean, maybe it's just a case of him needing a small top up, because he's only spent 12 seconds in the bay, so it's not a long stop. Maybe he's just decided to take on a little bit of fuel so he doesn't have to think about fuel conservation. He can actually just give it a really hard push. Have a look at this though. Connor Nixon closing it right up behind Bence as they come down the straight. I'm predicting a move here into turn 1. Jason Bence is going to have to be really switched on and pick his line, because Connor Nixon has about a credit card width between his front bumper and the rear of Bence. They're going side by side through one. Bence will be on the inside as they enter Southern Loop. Can he hold on to it? Just keeps Connor Nixon at bay. But have a look at Ken Latta taking full advantage of it. Nixon finds himself off the inside as Bence defends aggressively. Nothing of it just there, but geez, that was close.
Yeah, definitely. That was very close. This timing screen is absolutely lit up with some cars going into pits now. Michael Whiting as well is in the pits. He's in the pits as well. So that's maybe, can they not make the end? That's interesting. The
fuel calculations must have come through, and they've realised they just can't get there with the 60% tank, which makes me wonder, was that early stop just a miscalculation on how much 60% was going to get you here at Phillip Island?
9.92 seconds in the bay there for Michael Whiting, so maybe that was just tyres. I'm not too sure here, but that's going to be one.
Big lock up from Cudby, and Rick Feigar gets through. It was a little bit messy, but it gets him another spot. He's up into 18th, and Cudby will tack onto the back as they make their way through the left-hander that is Siberia.
Yeah, that was very close there with the lock up not to hit him. He actually ran deep too, so car in front, unfortunately,
we go Bence is in
as well. Yeah,
Bence is coming in. Ken Latta and Connor Nixon continue. So we see a separation of the pit strategies now.
Yep, and Damon Fisher as well is in. So he's going to try and do a bit of an undercut here. So that'll be interesting to keep an eye on where they come out in relation to the others. So we've seen a couple of cars come in already, but the question is, where will they come out? What does Connor Nixon and Ken Latta do here? Do they run long? Do they pit, watch, cover the undercut? I have no idea. They're going to come out into traffic. So for me personally, I would stay out, realistically speaking, because they're...
Ken Latta gets it wrong under brakes, goes very deep, just avoids Connor Nixon's rear bar. Look, I think if you're Ken Latta, the choice is obvious. You do whatever Connor Nixon does.
100%.
At this point, you just hang in there, stick with him, let him make the errors, let him tow you along, save a little bit of fuel, and gain just a few tenths in refuel time. That's the best spot for Ken Latta to be right now. They need to keep an eye, though, on the gap back to Jamie Dyke. It's 3.5 still at the moment. Wayne Walker has just set the fastest lap at 32 flat.
That is quick.
That is a full 0.3 faster than Connor Nixon's best lap, and Nixon's last lap at 33.9. So those fresh tyres for Wayne Walker making a huge difference.
Yeah, definitely. That's interesting there. Jason Benz has come out 0.6 behind Troy Siffel, so that's going to be one to watch on what happens there. So 0.6 behind, you know, that's going to really cause havoc there. But if he clears Troy Siffel, 6.7 seconds to Josh Harris, he's going to absolutely cause havoc there. We see, what's that, Ken Latta, Vigar, Vandermeer and Rushworth, a bunch of cars into the pits.
I'm really surprised to see Latta go in before Nixon. That's really, really interesting. Nipple comes into the pits, gets out of the way. Jason Benz will fly up the field here as he goes past all of these cars. But have a look, Ken Latta on his way out of the pits. That's insane. That's really, really made a huge difference.
3.5 seconds. Ken Latta's lost.
Yeah, that is massive, and Jason Benz absolutely making the most of it. The undercut is very, very strong in these cars, and it gets proven once again. We look further back, Whiting, Vanderkraan, Wayne Walker here, off the back of the 32 flat runs at 32.5. So still some pace in it, but he'll be getting a little frustrated, I think, being stuck behind Whiting and Vanderkraan if he's got some more pace in that, because this is just burning the best of those tyres. Keep your eye now, though, on Connor Nixon as he comes around. Let's see what sort of time he sets here with these delightfully fresh tyres. Oh, sorry, no, he's not come in. I stand corrected,
Connor Nixon
sorry.
hasn't come in.
Connor Nixon hasn't come in, so let's just check his time, against the fresh tyres of the likes of Benz and Latta. So he comes across the line at 33.4. Here comes Jason Benz. Let's see what he's got up the sleeve after a couple of laps out on these tyres. And then, of course, Ken Latta on very, very fresh tyres. It does seem to be sitting another half second back, so Benz probably the higher pace at the moment. But as Latta gets it up to temp, hopefully we start to see a bit of an improvement in those times. Benz crosses the line, records a 32.35. So it's a full second faster than Connor Nixon right now. But the gap, 28.5 seconds up to Connor Nixon while we wait on his second pit stop. So look, at this sort of pace, it should have Jason Benz and Ken Latta out in front of Connor Nixon by, look, as a guess, probably 10 seconds. Surely it's not that strong. My maths are probably way off.
Well, Grant, depending on how long Connor sits in the box for, so we only saw Ben sit in there 11.8, Ken Latta 12.9. So every lap that Connor stays out, that's less time that he has to sit in the box. But again, 9 seconds in tyres. So 9 seconds plus whatever the pit transit is. I'm assuming that's 20, 25, if not 30 seconds. As we see Connor Nixon in the pits. He is in the pit, so keep an eye on this. Jamie Dyke also in the pit, so keep an eye on Jason Benz.
Not surprised to see that from Dyke at all. Absolutely, he'll be following Nixon in.
100%. Keep an eye on Benz as you see him at 800 metres just behind Jamie Dyke there. So I'm curious to see on where they're going to come out, but it's going to be super close.
Here goes Jason Benz past the pit entry. Nixon still hasn't actually made it
7, 8,
out of his bay yet. The
10,
long stop.
11.7 in the bay.
So there he is, Connor Nixon coming out now, but there goes Jason Benz. There's Jamie Dyke. He's going to have to watch for some traffic on his way out because you've got Ken Latta, Danny McCrowan coming through. Jamie Dyke's out of the pits. Those tyres brand new. It'll take just a moment for him to get him up to temp. And then he's got this line coming up behind that he'll want to make sure he's well and truly ahead of. Thankfully, a good probably 7 seconds before he sees Stephen Varga in the rear view. Simon Haynes now under attack from Damien Fisher in the Team AJR entry, and that Solar Guard Mustang doing everything it can to hold the track. A little bit of a nudge along there from Damon Fisher. as Haynes gets all of the attention he probably never wanted here tonight. And keep your eye on Rushworth as well.
Yeah, definitely. You don't want to be bumping another car mid-corner because it really unsettles them. As soon as it lifts that rear, the car will start to spin because it'll push all the revs through.
Oh, look at the dive from Scott Mackay from ERT. Sends it up the inside of Andrew Rushworth, who'll be back on the inside but can't stop him from coming across on the way through Siberia. So Rushworth drops a spot to Mackay. Mackay absolutely threw it in there. Matt Vanderkran's trying desperately to go around the outside by the look of it. He's caught up in the middle, though, of Michael Whiting and Wayne Walker. These guys now in 14th, 15th and 16th. Matt Vanderkran up 22 positions so far this race. Make it 23 as he sneaks past Michael Whiting. He's going to put himself on the inside as they come over the hill. Can he get enough of an overlap? Can't quite get there. Whiting goes to the middle of the track. And that'll be Vanderkran slotting in behind with no choice but to look at the rear bar of that Fishy Motorsports car for another few corners.
Daniel McCrowan in the pits now too, so this is interesting. So what we thought was a very good move there, but yeah, this battle here, no, definitely not. Unfortunately, that early pit stop has probably not worked in his favour. Same as DC, all the way down in 32nd too. So that probably hasn't really worked in their favour with that early stop. Obviously, DC got involved with that bit of an incident there, but this battle pack here with Varga, Haynes, Fisher, Mackay, Rushworth, Vandermeulen, and then 6 seconds back to Whiting. So this is definitely, they're down but not out yet. So going to be a, 10 and a half, 11 laps to go. It's going to be exciting to watch. But keep an eye on this gap as well between Connor Nixon and Jason Bentz. He's got that down from 2.7 to 1.8. So Connor's making the most of those tyres.
He's not going to have long left in him though. He's probably only got another one lap, maybe two, before they really start to lose grip on him. Those first couple of laps, super important, as we know, with the Gen 3 supercars. And Phillip Island, historically, always tortures supercar tyres. So I expect that it's going to be getting very slippery very quickly for Connor Nixon. But even so, he's pulled another couple of tenths back on Jason Bentz. So we'll keep an eye on that. As you see, Rushworth throwing everything he can at Scott Mackay to try and regain that position. Mackay fairly comfortably holding him off there, just a little bit of a wiggle, and Fisher runs way off the track. He's just going to go for a bit of a ride through the kitty litter, and then there were three. Yeah, look, out on the beach. Out on the beach.
Take your floaties on the beach. Where's Mr. Curry Beach? He's out there somewhere. He got really taily on the exit there of the second last corner, and that just put him out because you know yourself, Joe, the camber of these corners, once you're off the racing line, it's all she wrote.
It absolutely sends you. Yeah. And that second to last corner, honestly, it's one of the few corners where, and let's be clear, right? I don't really nail most of the corners that I drive, but that second last corner here at Phillip Island is one of the most treacherous corners I've ever driven. I cannot seem to get anywhere close to the right line there, and Damon Fisher experiencing pretty much what I see every time I come through it, and you slide off the outside so easily, and you just can't recover from it.
Yeah, definitely. And then you try and get a good line through there, and then coming through the last corner, you really want to be on the gas there, early to get yourself a good run. But you try and be greedy, get on there a little bit early, and you're running wider through the final corner. As you jump up the front there, Jason Bentz, Connor Nixon, half a second behind.
There's been an error from Bentz somewhere.
Either that, or no, Connor did a 32.1 and Jason did a 33 dead. So those tyres for Jason Bentz definitely wearing off now. We'll keep an eye on that time that Connor's just done here. Yeah, 33.4. There was an error. Looks like there was one from Bentz, which is not what he wants at this point in the race, especially with Connor breathing down his neck with 3 tenths on those fresh tyres, which he's got 4 or 5 laps on as well. So that's a massive, difference. Keep an eye down here onto the hairpin because Connor's got 2 tenths, 2.5 tenths. Maybe not here, if not turn 1 at the next lap.
Yeah, Nixon will take his time here. He's going to have a big look up the inside and definitely keep Bentz on high alert. Try and just coax him into an error as he tries to defend. But Nixon will just be setting up. He'll be looking to keep very close in behind Jason Bentz all the way around and really just fill the mirror up the whole way around the track. He's not going to get a pass done here in the absence of an error from Bentz. but he wants the pressure on all the way through the rest of this lap. We'll take a quick look back to this pack, though, as we get to the hairpin, because here they go again. Whiting, Vanderkraan and Walker, the three of them, absolutely locked in together. Damon Fisher out in front is getting just pulled so quickly back towards this pack of three.
Connor has got it.
Oh, he's made the pass out of Lukey Heights. Hang on, Benson's on the inside on the run here to the final turn. So Benson's going to push him all the way to the outside edge. He's going to hold it. They're going to be side by side down the straight. Now they're going to come together here. Look at that. Only a millimetre or two gap between the two cars as they come out of the corner. Nixon's got the better run. Oh, you couldn't. You absolutely couldn't, could you? Nixon on the inside for turn one. Benson's going to have to back out. Now he gets a turn to follow Nixon through and keep the pressure on him. That's just under 2/10 of the gap. Nixon staying very, very tight to try and keep Jason Benson at bay, but that just gives Benson an opportunity to open that line up through Southern Loop, rather.
Sunset. So
Sunset,
we're not at Sebring.
We're not at Sebring. I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. But Jason Benz, look, he's going to have to be really careful not to lose too much time here to Connor Nixon. Already he's out to 4/10 as Nixon does everything he can to just extend that lead. And Jason Benz has to find something extra in those tyres to just stay with Nixon at the moment.
Yeah, I think the best position here that Benz can do is try and force Connor Nixon to make a mistake as we jump back to the other Quantum racing car in Troy Sippel here, battling with Oosterwolde, because the timing decides to be very close because these cars are so close. But yeah, there's where they come down into. They're coming down into the hairpin now, turn 4. So watch for the inside move there. Ooh, Oosterwolde defends
outside. Can he make it stick around the outside? There's not a lot of grip out there. He's going to have to be very, very careful. And in the end, it's probably going to end up costing him a little bit of time. We jump forward now because Damon Fisher is now absolutely part of this battle.
Yeah, this is exciting. Wayne Walker's just on the back too. 14th spot. He's up 10. Vanderkraan's up 22 spots. Not too far off this battle too either. So
Vanderkraan has given that spot up to Wayne Walker though, yeah. So it's a bit of a change around there. Still going on, of course. A little further up the road from this, you've got Scott Mackay, Andrew Rushworth, and Sean Vandermeulen in their own little three-way battle. So this one going on as you see Vandermeulen take a very, very late look up the inside of Rushworth. In the end, nothing in it. Just up ahead, Stephen Varga and Simon Haynes will be watching this happen in the mirror and trying to decide just how much they are at risk. David Logsdale's had a big moment. By the look of things, we'll take a look at this and see what's happened. Big slide.
Big rear locker.
Oh, just I think he's managed. You know what? I know ordinarily, you know, the toe to pits before approval from race control is frowned upon, but geez, he did a good job of getting out of the way of the cars that were about to T-bone him there.
That was very scary. That was very rear lock. That's one easy thing to do. You know yourself, Jared, in these supercars.
So simple.
Hit the brakes too hard, have your brake bias back too far, lock a rear. You know, you might over rev or under rev.
Just on that downshift, yeah.
Yeah, that downshift. So if you under rev on that downshift, it forces all of that power back into the rear wheels, spins, and see you later. That's all she wrote. Once she starts to spin from the rears locking, there's no chance of you catching it.
Yeah, along for the ride, you may as well just enjoy the view.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Get some sunblock out there, put a hat on, and enjoy the sun too while you're at it.
Why not? Why not? You may as well make the most of it because you're absolutely not saving that slide. It's, it's no GT3 car, that's for sure. This battle continues. Damon Fisher, Michael Whiting, Wayne Walker, Matt Vanderkraan, and Chad Vigar all so close together. See them come down the front straight here. The 5 of them line astern as they cross the line to start lap number 29. Connor Nixon out in front, still trying to put the gap on Jason Benz. Hasn't managed to extend it any further at this point. Just up the road from this group of cars, though. I say just up the road, 7 seconds the gap, but we've got another pack battling it out here. Varga and Haynes have now really been pulled back into this one with Mackay, Rushworth, and Vandermeulen starting to reel them in. So the Solar Guard entry for Simon Haynes getting all the screen time that the Solar Guard could want for round 1, it seems, because he's been in the middle of a pack basically the entire race here and of course race 1. As we see a bit of a moment from Rushworth, that lets Vandermeulen through, and all of a sudden it spaces back out again. Damon Fisher now gets caught, and Michael Whiting goes through. Here comes Wayne
Don't want to
Walker.
be there.
Fisher's going to stay way out wide. This is a high-speed section. You don't want to be negotiating passes here. Damon Fisher's going to hold the inside. He wants to stick on the back of Michael Whiting. Wayne Walker is going to slow him behind, but he's going to have another crack at it as they come down Lukey Heights. That is really, really tight. Nothing
Not only
in that.
Wayne Walker's being teamed up at the moment here by Matt Vanderkrant and Chad Viger and Angry Birds Racing. I wouldn't want to be seeing both of those cars, you know, because you don't want to be seeing those two team cars come together, because I'm pretty sure we've seen that happen somewhere before, Jared.
Yeah, it looks something that I would ordinarily expect of ADH, to be honestly.
Always, mate.
Good that you've only got one car at a time in the comp this season. That's the best way to stop that from happening. Have a look at the view back from Michael Whiting. Damon Fisher right behind him. You've got Wayne Walker just poking the nose up the side there of Fisher, looking to see if he can get a bit of extra pace by opening that corner up. And then, of course, Vanderkrant and Chad Viger, the two Angry Birds entries, right behind them as they make their way out of Southern Loop and down towards the hairpin once again. Somehow, I've got no idea how, but somehow Damon Fisher is managing to hold them off. They are absolutely charging at him right now.
He's doing an absolutely phenomenal job. Definitely trying to hold him off, as well as push towards to Michael Whiting here, in front of him. 3/10 that gap there. So, you know, as I was saying earlier, he not only having to defend, but he's also having to attack and not let Fisher get too far out in front, because as soon as he breaks that slip, he's gone. Especially this late in the race where you're on tyre management at this point. You know, you don't want to overheat him. You overheat him, you know, you'll spin the car. But not only that, Connor Nixon has also put out
Walker around the outside. He's locked it up. He's gone very, very
that's
wide.
Not where you want to be.
Wayne Walker drops right off the back. He's going to really struggle to catch them down. He needs to be aware that Craig Schultz is coming for him as well. That was unfortunate. Wayne Walker just getting a little bit impatient and unfortunately misjudging his braking on the way down the hill there. It's so easy to do.
So easy to do.
Farrington, McCrowan and Orman now, the battle for 20th. And the three of these cars locked in at the moment, half a second from front to back at this point.
Yeah, these cars are really feeling it now. Lighter fuel load, so they're going to be a little bit squirrely. You know, whatever the track temp is, track usage is a bit higher, so there's more rubber down, so there's going to be a bit more grip. Dirty air as well, so there's going to be a whole load of things he's going to be going through these drivers' heads this late in the race with what will be 4 laps to go here. So, you know, McCrowan trying to push here to try and overtake Simon Farrington for 20th spot, as we see Daniel down 11 spots. So, very unfortunate for him early on in the race getting involved, you know, with that unfortunate, nearly locks a rear there right on the entry of the apex. Lucky to keep it out of the back of Farrington and Orman not to hit him. But yeah, Damon Fisher, looks like he's made a bit of a mistake. He's lost 2 spots there, but yeah, that's, you know.
Oh, there goes McCrowan. He gets the drive out of Siberia, can't quite get there. I was just looking at this, you know, I'm used to seeing the Team Max Boost entries in open wheel leagues, and something that I've never seen in those leagues is the amount of rubber that has collected and is incredibly obvious on that Max Boost livery. That car is peppered it just cast-offs from the tyres in front, and that just tells you how much McCrowan has been right in behind the other drivers here at Phillip Island, and also just how much Phillip Island shreds the tyres on these supercars, because that thing, it's not a black speckle on that paintwork, folks. That is just tyre shed from the cars in front. Simon Farrington now with only a 10th. Here comes Danny McCrowan. Farrington goes to the outside. McCrowan gets his nose up the inside as they come down to turn 1. He's side by side. They move out. There's a bit of a touch there. Farrington backs out. He's going to go over under here if he can. Danny McCrowan just holds it as they make their way into the loop again. That almost cost them both.
That was very scary. That was very scary on my behalf, because that line there that McCrowan takes, you've got to be holding the brake there to get that front turned in, but at the same time cover the over-under there. So that was very well done by McCrowan. 7.7 seconds to Josh in front of him as we move further up here with Mackay, with Vandermeulen all over the back of him. lap 32 or 34 here. So they're really pushing. Obviously not too many battle packs now. They're pushing to try and get those final positions, maximum amount of points that they can get. Little battle packs, you know, 3 cars, 2 cars, jump up further with Vargs. Haynes all over the back of him. There's nothing here. Jared, whoever you hired to do this drone shot, because it is absolutely fantastic, but got to be careful of those signs.
It's fine. It's fine. Nothing to it. One drone goes high, one drone goes low. We got no problems whatsoever. Vargs leads the way down into turn 1 with his teammate Simon Haynes right on his tail. And they are holding just under a second and a half to Scott Mackay. They'll be pretty keen to finish up somewhere around about this sort of position if they can hold him off. But have a look at those 3 cars chasing him down as well. Vargs and Haynes have got an opportunity to get some really good points in for Quantum here. The front end of this field actually looking like finishing up a lot further spread than I probably expected if race 1 was anything to go by, but the pit strategies have really changed it up for a lot of these drivers, and a few incidents along the way certainly haven't helped. But for Vargs and Haynes, they've come out pretty nicely at the moment, up 5 and 9 spots respectively. Sean Vandermeulen in this pack behind, up 12 from where he started this race. But the biggest mover at the top end of the field, Matt Vanderkraan, up 24 positions since he started, all the way back in 37th.
Yeah, that's a very good race there from Vanderkraan, up 24 as you said. Vandermeulen still all on the back of here in Mackay, but not only that, he's got Rushworth right behind him. So there's down but not out as Connor Nixon comes over the line here for the white flag, out with a 1.3 second gap. So he's slowly gapped Jason Benz now with Ken Latta 3.7 behind. So I think the 1, 2, 3, 4 are going to be, 1, 2, 3 are going to be where they are, because Poynton not down but not out yet. 9, 10,
he's trying everything at Jamie Dyke. It's still a fair gap, but you know, he's close enough to smell an opportunity here. If Jamie Dyke misses a brake marker, that could be all it takes for Poynton to be back in this and challenging for 4th. Really surprisingly, the front 3 unchanged from where they started this race. It's like they could have just gone home and called it a day before they even started, and they would have been just as happy. But that takes all the fun out of it.
Yeah, that's the joys of this one. You know, the strategy come into play, obviously, with the 2 pit stops. Very interesting, not something you commonly see in, say, like a 30-odd lap race, but Orman here on the back of Farrington with Mitch Wood all over the back of him as well. So down but not out yet. They're still battling for position here, but the question is, will we see Orman get it down into turn 4? It's probably his one and only last chances to do it, as Connor Nixon is just about nearly to get the checkered flag.
Had a big think about it. But couldn't quite get there as they just back it up a bit. But here comes Nixon around the final turn, and a hell of a way to back it up after race 1. This is a huge start to his season. Comes across the line, takes the checkered flag. That's the win. Jason Bentz just behind, and here comes Ken Latta just a couple of seconds behind. Jamie Dyke coming home in 4th ahead of Mark Poynton, and then a pretty significant gap back to the next finisher in Dean Logsdale, sorry.
That's a crazy gap. Then Daniel McCrowan there. Oh, not McCrowan, sorry, same colour, wrong person.
Have a look at some of these guys as they come across the line, though.
There's
not a lot in it. Side by side at the end there. 0.03. Chad Vigard gets Wayne Walker by 0.03 of a second at the line. Absolutely nothing in it to finish this race. Phil Manuel and Nick Clifton will cross the line pretty close together as well. A bit of a gap here back to Troy Sipple. But keep your eye. Here comes Usterval, then Manuel and Clifton as they come across the line. And then the stragglers start to make their way through. David Coleman, unfortunately, that strategy just not paying off for him, finishes in 29th position. And the last of these drivers just making their way across the line now as we wait on, I think Alex Kiedis and Alistair Bales should be just about the last to cross the line, I would think. A little bit further back through the field. Looks like Alistair Bales actually having a very late issue. So not what he would have wanted to finish this one off. That 30 might have... he's run out of fuel.
Yeah. looks like he has run out of fuel. That's very unfortunate there for Alistair. But top race there. That was very exciting with all the different strategies. Phillip Island always provides for good racing with over-unders and, you know, off camber and stuff like that. But yeah, fantastic job.
Yeah, huge effort. We're just going to wait for the final results to actually make their way through to us. Now that Bales is back to the pits, we'll get those through from race control. And race number 2, it looks like this Connor Nixon takes the win again. Picks up the full points here tonight. Jason Bentz a second again, and Ken Latta coming home in third. So a really strong start for all 3 of those drivers in this season's points. Jamie Dyke in 4th ahead of Mark Point, and then Dean Logsdale and Simon Haynes, with Scott Mackay, Sean Van der Meulen and Andrew Rushworth making up the rest of your top 10. We'll bring Connor back in to have a chat to us once again. Connor Nixon, what a drive to start your season, mate.
Yeah, it's definitely not bad. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a bad result.
No, look, I mean, you can't get much better than that, honestly, unless you've somehow missed out on the fastest lap bonus points or something like that. A couple of wins in the first round is absolutely how anyone wants to start off their championship. Talk to us about that second one. We noticed that, you know, although you did pull a bit more of a gap there towards the end, you were pretty well tied up with Benson Latta for a long time there. Early on in race number 2, was that a case of you trying to perhaps save a bit of fuel rather than push for the early gap, or were they just a bit quicker this time around?
No, it was just a bit of a fuel save game. When, you know, it was kind of seeing when they were going to pit. I didn't want to, you know, pit first and get the give them the opportunity to go long. So yeah, I just waited for them to box, and it seemed like they went early, and yeah, that was basically it. So yeah, just boxed about 3 laps later than Jason, and then I think it was about 2 laps for Ladder there. So pretty happy with that result. Jason looks like he's got some mega pace. So yeah, looking forward to the season going forward.
Yeah, look, not a bad one at all, that's for sure. And we saw some interesting moves right throughout, honestly. In terms of, you know, probably we haven't seen a huge amount of racing from you in this league before, but I know you've had a bit of a look at it here and there. How did you find your first crack at it this season with some of the competition that was around?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, nice and clean. I felt like I was the dirty driver in that. Yeah, heaps of people gave heaps of room. And yeah, it was really good. You could see the guys have done a lot of laps to because yeah, it was definitely pushing and sweating after that. So yeah, definitely going to go have a shower after this and feed the puppies. So yeah, it's definitely one of those.
You only battled with like 3 drivers that whole night there. I think it was Jason and Ken you really battled with, so you didn't have to worry about too many people.
No, luckily, hopefully that doesn't change. But no, look, yeah, they were definitely quick. Yeah, for Jace to box on lap 20 and I was on 23, and to be only 6/10 behind, that's a really good effort. So yeah, I was pushing that whole way. Definitely not being slow out there or anything. So yeah, Jace was really quick. So yeah, it was good.
Nice one, Connor. Before we let you go and you know, unwind a little bit after that one, maybe wipe a bit of the sweat off. Anyone you want to say hello to or give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, just like to thank you. Shout out, well, just a shout out to Orbit Drop Bear Motorsports. It's the purple car. I'm sure it's you've seen it a little bit.
One of my favourite liveries anywhere, mate. Absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah, race. Oh my god, never can do it. But anyway, Revo Race Gear, they're the main partners. And yeah, iLiveries does the awesome paint, and just the rest of the sponsors on the car. HRS is one of them. That's yeah, been really handy for a lot of the drivers. Yeah, bought a lot of stuff off Brett. So yeah, and yeah, just shout out to Carl Brownlee. He was yeah, spotted tonight. So appreciate it.
Nice one. Thanks, Connor, and well driven tonight, mate. We'll let you get on with it.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
You too, mate. Cheers.
Connor Nixon taking P1 there in both races. We go now to P2 with Jason Benz. Jason, welcome back to the booth, mate. It feels like not that long since we spoke to you. somehow.
Yeah, well, it wasn't Bathurst. I don't know. Been a while.
I don't know.
Not sure.
It feels like it wasn't that long ago, but maybe it has been, mate. Well done again tonight. A cracking set of results for you across both races. How was it out in front? You were tied up with Nixon and Ladder, who are both in their own right pretty bloody quick. How did you find the racing tonight at Phillip Island?
I think it was really good racing out the front there. Sort of little bit of door banging, but there's a bit of mutual respect going on with everyone out there, I thought. So it's a good race.
That's what you'd love to see, ultimately, isn't it? Anything that you've sort of taken away from tonight that you're looking to work on before round 2, or maybe just a little bit more intel on the likes of Connor Nixon and how to get under his skin, maybe?
2 seconds at Phillip Island, I take as a gain. I don't take anything from this track. We move on to the next track, and
so you're another
just
one who doesn't love this
entire
place,
zero
obviously.
Mate, I live 2 kilometres from the track, and I cannot stand it in the sim for some reason.
Well, there you go, mate. You've redeemed yourself pretty well, considering solid set of results. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go back to the team?
Shout out to all the Quantum Racing boys and some of the boys from XCM.
Nice stuff. Jason, thanks so much for dropping by. Great race tonight, and good to see you amongst the points, mate.
Cheers, mate. Thanks for the broadcast.
Jason Bence takes P2 for the second race there as we move him back on over to the team. And last but not least, in P3 for tonight, Ken Ladder picking up some good points for Fishy Motorsport. G'day, Ken. How you been?
Yeah, not too bad. Yourselves?
Mate, doing well. Congrats on a pretty solid set of results for yourself here at Phillip Island to start the season. Everyone's been a bit mixed on Phillip Island, how they feel about it. What do you reckon? Was it a good track today, or do you just not get on with Phillip Island either?
I hadn't really sort of only looked at the set, this particular set as we came in, but it wasn't too bad. It was a fairly safe set, so I just had to change the brakes a little bit to get the car to rotate, I guess, towards the end, which is what we had to figure out. But I think it was all right. That last race, first pit stop, I don't think I filled it all the way, and that's why I was so far off Bence.
There you go. Just a little bit of extra on the second one, hey?
Yeah, and then trying to push too early when the tyres are cold, which sort of hurt me a bit. And then I had to sort of settle down a little bit, and then the tyres came back to me, and then the car started turning and hitting apexes again. And I was just like going, all right. It was catching, but it was just too little, too late. But
Good
yeah,
old
well done to the
things, mate.
yeah.
Mate, look, it's considering the little niggles there for a first round to finish up in third with a good chunk of points from the round overall. You can't argue with that. Any particular track this season that you're really looking forward to?
Oh, look, got here. Probably the Red Bull Ring, Sandown.
Oh, Red Bull Ring. Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay. Probably not really a supercar-esque kind of track there. So, yeah. Okay.
I'm looking forward to turn 1 at Red Bull Ring. I'll be honest. That's one I always enjoy having a good camera set up for on a broadcast. So we'll see how that goes. Now, look, mate, it is a pretty good season ahead of us, and hopefully the car behaves a little bit better for you in the coming rounds, and you jump up an extra spot or two in some of them. We get a chance to chat to you again. Mate, before we let you go, anyone you want to say thank you to or hello to at home before we head back?
Well, just well done to Bence and Nixon for winning. They both drove well tonight. All the guys at Fishy and our sponsors, DC Shades, I have them up at the moment, so
All good.
We do have them here.
We'll give you another shot to run through them again next time you're up here with us, eh?
Yeah, we've got them: West Automotive Group, Infinity Design, DC Shades, Battery Warehouse, and MGS Gaming. They'll do.
There you go.
And thank you guys, and to you guys, and I'll certainly jump on and watch the broadcast after this.
Good stuff. Cheers, Ken. Well driven tonight, mate. Well earned.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Thank you.
And Ladder picking up some nice points there for Fishy Motorsport. We'll go and take a look at the overall standings from the night in just a moment. But before we get into that, we might just drag on into the room because I see him hanging around. Troy Sipple from Quantum Racing, mate. How are you?
I'm all right, boys. I finished a race, so I'm tickled pink.
I know that's
Here we go.
probably your best result in what, a good season and a half, isn't it?
Yeah, it is actually. It is the worst. I'm not a big fan of this track, so but no, I was pretty happy. So I went off at one stage, thought, oh no, it's all gone, but no, kept it going. So pretty happy.
Oh mate, you've got to be. Now I'm gonna ask you a few questions while we've got you here, just on Alliance Sim Racing and the season ahead. Obviously a huge turnout for race one. 40 odd cars on the grid. Makes it a lot of fun right throughout the field, and we saw plenty of battles going on. Taking a look ahead, I mean, obviously a new major partner in SolarGuard, some good support from the regular group of partners in 24/7 Sim Services, running race control up there. You've got Quantum Tint Solutions, you've got West Automotive, and of course Nicol Photography gives us some great shots after each race. It's not a bad way to start off the last season for 2025, is it?
No, it's pretty good. So we got a good structure going, and so we got a good base set up with Quantum and Rick and Tim as well. So yeah, so no, it's good. There's actually 50 on the books for this season, so 10 must be either working or away. So, but yeah, so hopefully we can get a good 40, 50 cars each week. Would be great.
Yeah, look, I can certainly tell you that my PC is going to be feeling it if we get a full grid, but we'll see what we can do about actually showing everyone at once. It was a very, very long lineup here tonight on the front row. Taking a bit of a look ahead at what's to come this season, what are you most looking forward to seeing?
Finish at least 2 or 3 races would be great, but no, I just want. I'd like to have a few different winners each round would be good, or each week a different winner would be great to keep the championship going. Good battles, and which I think we got a good field. We got a fast field, so there'll be a lot of action up front. So, but after tonight, there's a good mixture throughout the whole category. So, hopefully, up the front, in the middle, and down the back, there's good battles going on, and it's good for everyone to watch. That's the plan. So we'll probably turn it up a bit with a few sneaky changes in the way the formats are done, and like the Bathurst 1000 Enduro with that rain in the middle made it for very interesting broadcasting, which so
absolutely that puddle up the top was I'll tell you what, it was almost like you saw in advance what was going to happen for the official iRacing Bathurst 1000, because that same puddle caught out so many drivers from the rain that happened over the weekend just gone.
I think it caught my car about 6 times, I think. So.
Well, mate, you're nothing if not consistent, I'll give you that.
Well, that's it. Even Dylan, he struggled with. I think it got him 3 times. So mine, I did a full pirouette and kept going. But I think he crashed it and thought, that's it. Watch it on TV. So, but no, brilliant. So we have got, me and Rick are talking about throwing a few different things in the mix. So I'm actually going to miss the last 2 races this season, but so we'll make sure we stir it up in the meantime. So, but now with SolarGuard on board, and we are speaking to a couple of extra people as well, which would be great. So, the category of ASR's going leaps and forwards, so we can keep it going, and it'd be great. And of course, you're broadcasting second to none, so that's doing us heaps of favours as well. So it's going well.
Well, we'll try and keep delivering it for you, mate. I suppose we'll get through another season, eh?
I don't know about letting Josh race though. He kind of pushed me around a little bit. I'll have to change that.
I assure you that we're going to be giving him plenty on the weeks he's in the car. Yeah. And that's half the fun, honestly, is when he's out of the booth, we get to throw all sorts of shade at him. I was surprised to see that he didn't pop a motor tonight, honestly.
Yeah, well, I heard that. I heard him chatting about it on the other last week, and he said he'd be surprised. But you just got to remind him though, hey, the drivers that aren't in the championship race, you be nice to them, because they've got nothing to lose. So throwing it into a turner and going, oops.
Just wait till I'm in the car, mate. I'm a little bit faster than Josh. I'll put my shoulders out a little bit more.
I do? Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Challenge accepted.
Never dirty though, never dirty. And if I make a mistake, I earn those ones. But no, it's definitely good to see.
Yeah, good. No, actually, it was real happy with, because every time I've raced at this track, I have struggled. And whether it's me driving, getting used to this car, I've struggled with. So, but this time I actually did okay, and I made a few good passes, made a few bad ones, but all in all, no, it was really good. So.
Well, mate, look, a fantastic start to the season for ASR with SolarGuard and all of the other support on board, and a fantastic start to the season for you. Let's hope that your season continues to be better than the last, just the way that the overall league is going to be, I'm sure, mate. Thanks for dropping by, and appreciate your time,
also,
mate.
before I go, what'd you think of the Simon Hayes ran our SolarGuard car? What'd you think of that livery?
It looks pretty bloody decent, not going to lie. We actually saw a little bit less of the safety car tonight than I was expecting us to, but it did get a run out there as well. The GT4 done up in the SolarGuard livery, looking pretty schmick, if I do say myself.
Very good, very good. Yeah, it looks really good. All right, boys.
Although it did nearly have 3 other cars painted on the same car.
Well, yeah, look, there was a bit of a moment with the safety car, not quite seeing them all coming down the main straight, but look, there's always next time.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, boys, I'll let you go. Thanks again. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, SolarGuard. Great work, and I'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Cheers, Troy. Right. Troy Sipple there. Mate. Dropping on in from the ASR admin team. Let's take a quick look at the championship standings, provisional of course, after round 1 before we call it a night here. Connor Nixon will lead the way, taking the full points from this round. Jason Bentz not too far behind, and Ken Latta sitting comfortably in 3rd. Jamie Dyke and Mark Poynton tied for 4th, and Dean Logsdale just 2 points behind. It's only 1 round in. We've got a 3-way tie, 8th, 9th and 10th, Whiting, Rushworth and Simon Haynes. So it's early days yet, of course, Ryan, but going to be a bit of a fun one. I've just realised that the really tricky part for me is going to be combining your results with Josh Harris across the season. So I'm going to have to figure that one out somehow.
Just, chuck the numbers in the calculator and we'll see how it goes. Either that or just have a look at the ADHD team results, because then it'll just add them together. So it'll kind of make your life easy. But
yeah, we'll get it sorted out.
Yeah, it should be fun. Obviously, we did want to each run one whole season, but Josh could only do half with obviously being away for work. So depending on how, his work goes for the next season, if we can run both cars, and we will. But yeah, so no, it's good to have us here, obviously helping you out as well. It's good to be along with ASR. The boys are really, made us feel welcome. So no, it's been really good, and the season looks really healthy too. So it's always good to jump into a healthier league with some different drivers and see how they race as well. So obviously not too sure how much you've done different leagues, but other drivers drive differently and stuff like that. So it's going to be good, going to be exciting, and I'm excited for the rest of the season to see how the rest of the drivers go with the trucks that we've got coming up, because there's definitely a bit of an interesting calendar, considering we've got Belle Isle in there, Thruxton, Mexico as well, the newest edition, obviously Red Bull Ring, and then Sashin Ring to finish off with Bathurst. So yeah, as I said earlier, Josh is leaving me with all the non-favorited ones that I want to, but that's just how his work does. But yeah, it's gonna be good. I think next week we're at Watkins Glen Boot, so that should be
absolute
interesting
cracker for round 2 for sure. Thank you
100%.
so much for getting in the booth tonight. It's been a pleasure having you along as always. That will wrap us up here for round number 1 from Phillip Island of the SolarGuard Supercar Championship with Alliance Sim Racing Season 6 getting off to an amazing start. It was fast, it was intense, and a bit of a reminder to us all, I think, that this championship is going to be a hard-fought one right to the end. Huge thank you to the new league sponsor in SolarGuard, Saint Cobain, and of course to our continuing sponsors, 24/7 Sim Services, Nicol Photography, of course, Quantum Tint Solutions, and AA West Automotive. Join us next week as the championship continues at Watkins Glen. For now, congrats to the winners of both races tonight, Connor Nixon taking both of those and picking up a huge lot of points along the way. And of course, most of all, thank you to everyone watching at home for being with us. From all of us here at Simple Racing Broadcast, it's always a pleasure to have you along for the ride. Until next round, though, it is goodbye for now.